Libra, the October energies are upon us. Are you ready? Let's have an aligned astro chat about it. Hello all, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to your Transformational Tarot for October for Libra. And I am so excited to be connecting with you guys today to figure out all of the energies that are coming up and how to make them work for you. So we are going to be pulling an overarching theme card from the Sweet Ass Affirmations 2 from Rage Create. And today, Under the Oak Tarot spoke to me for you. This is Offride and Strega della Mele. So without further ado, let's get to it. All right. So Libras, this is for anyone Sun, Moon, and Rising. You can even listen to this for your Venus. Let's just see what October has for you. October for a lot of the signs is going to be a little bit up and down on an emotional level, an emotional roller coaster. I feel Librans, like you're going to feel a little bit of that, but not necessarily be as affected as maybe some other signs are. So let's see what your card is. I am in love with all my parts. I am vibrant and sexy AF. Loving this. Okay. So this month in October, I feel like this makes sense. There are some that are having a lot of emotional roller coaster moments. And I feel like you are bringing the balance. And I feel like your balance is really in understanding that there's been a kind of like a connection of wholeness for you, like coming into your own, recognizing that the shadow is just as important as the light within you. And that, you know, even in those darker times or those areas of your life where you typically feel like you're weaker or less educated or less accomplished or capable, suddenly there are some things that are coming up for you this month that are showing you that's actually not true, and that you have grown or you have achieved something different, or your confidence levels have improved and you're not as anxious or nervous or scared about those things that you're going into. And I feel like you're vibrant in that. You're going to be reflecting that. In fact, I feel like it's kind of like oozing out of you. So, you know, Libras, you know, that Libran charm. I feel like the Libran charm is going to be in full force in October. So I'm going to say to you, for those of you who are interested in, you know, love and romance, or, you know, a little lust in the dust and some hookups, this is going to be a fantastic month for you with that. You know, just work your charm. You know, you're going to be able to meet somebody anywhere you go. You know, if that's what you want, like turn on the charm and you're good to go. I feel like that's really important. Okay, presently, where are you at right now in your transformational journey? What part of you is shifting, rising, or dissolving? Oh, you got your own card, the Justice card. Oh, I love this. Okay, so I feel like, again, you're aligned. You're comfortable in your own skin. You are, where everyone else is kind of losing their shit, you kind of have it all together because you've kind of been through some of this other stuff. And you're really at a point where you're saying, I'm not going to sweat the small stuff. I'm just not. I just don't have the time or the energy to really step into any of that at all. I don't want to do it. And as a result of I don't want to do it, it's freeing you up. And now you're stepping into what you really know, which is your own frequency and energy. Justice is often a card of detachment. I talk about it in terms of detachment. And I feel like that's exactly what we're describing here. You've come to a point in your journey where you're recognizing, I can't fix anything. I can't fix everything. No, I can't fix everything. I can fix the things that are in my control to fix. And what is in my control to fix? My response to things, the choices that I make, and my attitude towards those choices, the action steps that I take to work towards my own personal goal. I can control how I choose to show up in my interactions with other people. I'm in complete control of that. What I'm not in control of is how I'm received. But I absolutely can control how I'm showing up. And I feel like this is you rising. This is also a little bit of you shifting. But definitely I feel that this is you rising. And I feel like it's the beginning of this. It's like the beginning parts of this. This is fresh for you. This is fresh and new for you. So you're loving it. There's I want to say a little bit of that honeymoon-esque, like it's so fresh that you're like, oh my God, this feels so great. It's like when you go to the club for the first time and you do for me, it was 3 shots of tequila. And then I was on the dance floor and you couldn't get me off the dance floor. It's like at the beginning of the night, you're gung ho, you're good to go. The music keeps going and it's like fantastic. And you're just like, and everything's amazing. And then probably by hour 4, when the tequila's worn off, people are bumping into you. Your feet are sticking on the floor because of all the beer that's been spilt. And they start to turn the lights up and you start to see how, like that hot, sweaty mess that everyone is. Suddenly the rose is off the bloom, right? So I feel a little bit like that. Like you're in the beginning parts of this and it's going to last for a while. It's definitely going to last for a while because it's at the beginning phases. But I want to say, like, take your time with it. You know what I mean? Don't rush it. Embrace it and enjoy it. Make it last as long as possible. Interesting. All right, the catalyst. What's fueling or hindering your transformation? And is this resistance or rocket fuel? Interesting. So we have Queen of Swords, which I often see this card very similarly to the Justice card. It's definitely connected. It's also a Libra card. So there you go. Loving that. Okay. So this message I'm hearing really clearly is you need to get out of your own way. So in order for you to allow yourself to really embrace all of this and to be in your space and to love every part of you, you have to get out of your own way, because this feels a little bit to me today like your ego voice popping up and saying, just last week you were, crying in your beer, or you were, laying in bed and you couldn't get out of bed to, what does it all mean and why am I blah, 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 whatever. The ego voice is having a field day trying to convince you that this isn't real, that you can't trust this. And I feel like when we talk about the catalyst or the block, this is a big block. But I want to say the block can be illusory. It is illusory, in fact. It's up to you to determine whether or not you're going to listen to this. And what I always like to say with ego voice is acknowledge it, always acknowledge it, and repurpose it. Acknowledging it doesn't mean that you are giving it credence, that you are saying, yes, okay, I'm going to listen to everything that you say and I'm going to follow you hook, line, and sinker. Acknowledging it says, I hear you. I see that you're fearful. I see that you're nervous and I understand why you're nervous. And here's the exact reason why I'm going to do things differently, because we don't need to be nervous. Whether I have this for a day, a week, a month, or an hour, it's still fun. It's still going to shift and change me in great ways. It's still a break from the monotony of the not having or of the lack of connection. So I feel like this Queen of Swords is representing the ego side of you in this regard. And again, don't discount it, don't negate it, acknowledge it, and then give it something else to do. I always like to say, give ego a lollipop and a coloring book, go sit down in the corner and shut the hell up for a little while. I got shit to do, right? So repurpose the ego a little bit. Otherwise, it's going to stop all this deliciousness. Deep root. What deep belief, wound, or soul contract is driving this transformation under the surface? Oh, yeah. There is a component here on a very subconscious level of you feeling like the world is going to end, or I'm never going to get to my goal. I'm never going to reach that. I'm never going to get to the sum total. Or when I do, that's when the world ends. And I want to remind you that we as souls are infinite. We're right now, we have incarnated on a do-over planet. That's why it feels like Groundhog Day all the time, because we're constantly having the opportunity to to do over lessons, relearn lessons, go over patterns and cycles until we figure out it's an unhealthy pattern and cycle, and then we can choose to break it. So we're at the precipice right now, and anyone who's watching these kinds of videos, I want to say, has some level of self-awareness to recognize that there is something beyond the illusion of the game that we play in this thing called life. So when we are talking about that deep root, I feel like this is coming up for you in October to really ask yourself, what do I really believe? Because if there really is a deep root of belief in there that isn't aligned with where I'm going and growing, if there is something in there that I'm not trusting, which means I'm not actually loving all parts of myself, and therefore I'm going to get in my own way, then I need to tweak it right now. I need to get right to the heart of it. So I definitely feel that this is, when I'm drawn to deep belief, wound, or soul contract, it feels like deep belief. So examine and evaluate what you really believe and listen to the body to tell you what you really believe, because your mind's going to tell you one thing, and then your body is going to either validate it and verify it, or it's going to contradict it. And if you're saying, oh yeah, I believe that I deserve everything, and you got a rock in your gut, or you feel like you're going to vomit, or you want to go to protect yourself, I'm going to tell you right now, there is a disconnect there, and your body is not believing what you're trying to tell yourself. And so there's a reprogramming or rewiring that is required there. So I feel like this is going to be coming up for you to evaluate. And you don't have to be harsh with it, but I do want to say you want to bring some justice to it. You want to bring some emotional detachment to it so that you can release it, so that you can cut it loose and cut it free. What's dying away for you right now? What role, pattern, or identity has run its course? Yeah, so the change has been made. And not only has the change been made, the change has been made like a couple of times over. I almost feel like, Libras, you've been manifesting over your manifestations. And we often do this, especially those who suffer from a lot of anxiety. We go and we tell the universe, I want this amazing thing. You know, I'm feeling it. I'm putting it out there. Thank you for making it so. And so it is. And then we're like watching the clock, right? Like, okay, it's been an hour. It's been a day. It's been 2 weeks. Where's my cookie, right? And then we think, oh, maybe I screwed up, or maybe I'm supposed to manifest this every day. So then we go to the universe and we're like, okay, I haven't received it yet, so I'm just going to manifest. And you go and you manifest the exact same thing over again. What you do is you reset the clock. You tell the universe, oh, well, I thought I wanted it then, but I was wrong. So I really want it now. So the universe is like, oh, okay, so we're going to stop what we had in motion. And now we're going to start the whole thing over again, because now it's a different timeline, or it's different choices, or there are different people involved. And so now we're starting from square one. And in the meantime, you're like, do. So I feel like when we're talking about what's dying away, having to constantly reevaluate or constantly manifest over your manifestations, this is a way of the past. You can't do this anymore. And so I feel like the death card is coming up to reflect that this is a pattern that you need to release. This is something that is not serving you anymore. So pay attention to the things that you are thinking about what you've already manifested or co-created or put out into the universe, drawn to yourself, prayed for, whatever it is. Pay attention to that. I always like to say use future memory. So a future memory is, okay, I've already manifested the big thing. I did the manifestation ceremony. I did the burn and release. I wrote it all out. I, commanded it out into the universe, and I'm good. I'm done. I know that the universe is bringing it to me. So the next day, rather than going over that same ritual or even revisiting the ritual, now what I want to do is as I'm laying in bed before I get up in the morning, I want to create a future memory as though I already have that thing. And I want to feel it into being. The analogy that I always use is, if you're looking for a partner in your life, a romantic partnership, and you've done all the manifesting. So when you're laying in bed in the morning and you're waking up, before you open your eyes, visualize your partner laying next to you. Imagine what they smell like, what they taste like, what their skin feels like on your touch, to your touch. Imagine that they're serving you breakfast in bed. Imagine that your dog is licking their toes and they're giggling, and you've never heard them giggle like that before. Like, have that 30 seconds or a minute of creating a future memory, and do it until you feel it as though it has occurred, and then release it. Thank you, universe, bring me more. And then the next day, you don't have the same future memory, you create a different future memory. So I feel like this is what's dying away, is this idea that you have to keep manifesting over your manifestations, because that just tells the universe that you don't trust that the universe is going to give you what you need. So then the universe gives you more opportunities to learn how to trust the universe. Right? It's like this is the song that never ends. Like, we just don't want to go there. So I feel like the death card is coming up to say we're getting rid of that. Gone is that pattern and cycle. This is your highest phoenix potential. What can rise from the ashes? What is your soul calling you toward? This is the breakthrough. Oh, I love it. 6 of Pentacles. So yes, I feel like what is rising from the ashes is trust, generosity, that give and receive. We were talking a lot about that, sort of the give and take, understanding that you've got all of these things. I feel very much that when we're talking about what can rise from the ashes, I feel like this is you allowing yourself to receive. And maybe for some of you, it's receiving the kind of love or assistance or support that you've never received before, because you've never allowed yourself to receive it. And this is going to be a big breakthrough for a lot of you. I feel like this is connected to the ego, right? Connected to that Queen of Swords aspect of you that wants to get in the way and stop you from having all of these things out of fear. This is you being vulnerable, coming at it with a child's mind or a child's perspective and saying, yes, I don't have all the answers. I would love to, try that popsicle, or I would love to receive that little bit of information to understand why this beautiful sky is red all of a sudden and not blue, right? I feel like there's a certain level of vulnerability here, and it's the vulnerability of a child. Nobody gets mad at a child for being vulnerable. Nobody healthy or sane gets mad at a child for being vulnerable. Instead, we honor that because they don't know. They've never been through, that level of experience before. So treat yourself as though you are that vulnerable child. And when I say vulnerable, I don't mean like in danger. I mean emotionally open, emotionally curious, emotionally willing to lean in and ask for help, or to ask for information, or to ask if there's an experience that you can have with this person, that this person can give you, or this situation can give you. Don't be afraid to ask for what you need and what you want. I like that. That's really freaking cool. And I feel like when you ask, the breakthrough is in learning how wonderful it is to receive all of that, and how it's not so scary, and how it absolutely can be safe to ask. Make sure you're asking like knocking on the right door, asking I want to say the right people. So, I feel like you want to test this theory out with people that you already have established some trust with. Not necessarily a stranger, although some of you may be called to reach out to ask for help from a stranger, and that is inherently your lesson. Receive it all, but understand that the breakthrough is in the secret sauce is in the vulnerability, and then receiving all the magic and wonder that you asked for, and then processing how that feels to have what it is that you asked for. You in this process, how are you navigating this particular transformation? Are you resisting, flowing, grieving, or boldly rising? Oh, interesting. Wow. It's really interesting because we have, sort of not the 4 corners, but like the 4 areas of the wheel that are always represented. And there are 4 different things here in the process listed: resisting, flowing, grieving, or boldly rising. I want to say you're doing it all. I feel very much that in this transformation, you're going to have moments where you're shifting the wheel back and forth. I want to say the wheel isn't going in a clockwise direction. That's the whole point of the Wheel of Fortune, is it shifts and twists on a dime. So you never know what you're going to get. And the whole point of it is to kind of test your resolve, or to test your ability to adapt and to adjust to life, how to make that that particular ingredient work for you in your life, because it's always happening for you. So I want to say, you in this process, you want to really be aware at any given moment, be really present with where you're at, because at any given moment, you might be feeling a different type of way. Be aware of the way that you're feeling and recognize, okay, if I'm resisting, is resisting a good idea right now? Like, am I resisting because my instincts are telling me I'm safe, or am I resisting because I'm afraid? Right? Like I'm afraid to grow, or I'm afraid of what's to come. And maybe instead of resistance, you want flow. So then move the wheel to flow. If you're flowing and you really want to be boldly rising, lift yourself out of the flow of the water and get into the current of the air. If you're grieving and you really want to be in flow, then cry your eyes out and then shift into, okay, universe, I give up the control, right? I surrender to what is. And I really ask the universe to show me the right path. You know, this is a labyrinth as well as a wheel. It's going to show you the way in and the way out. So you need to really be present. Well, you don't need to do anything. The thing to consider here is being really present every step of the way this month to your feelings and where you're at, because you are in charge of making this shift. You know, yes, the wheel has a certain level of luck and chance to it, but I feel like the message that's coming through here, with this being you in the process, you're bringing some of this shift. So be aware of what you're bringing to the table. You know, I am responsible for the energy I bring into a room. It's that kind of thing that you want to tap into. Circles of, am I doing this right? 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I'm right. Oh, no, I skipped one. This is what is emerging just around the corner for you. What energy or experience is coming in to support the next phase? I apologize, I skipped one ahead. Here we have the 8 of Cups. Interesting. So I feel like what's coming for you just around the corner is this a full release. And I feel like this full release is like it's kind of like what I was saying with the wheel and that surrender energy. I feel almost like the full release comes as a relief. Like, oh, I can let all of this go, and I can still get to where it is that I need to be. I can let go of control. I can let go of the idea that I, originally wanted to go here, but now it just doesn't feel aligned. It doesn't feel right to me. I really feel like this 8 of Cups is coming up as a card of support for you. And that emergence is, the support is going to come from outside. We talked about this with the 6 of Pentacles. You can be vulnerable. You can ask. It's going to be given. And then when it's given, I feel like there's a lot of relief. I love this particular card depiction because of the swan. Swans are so graceful. But let me tell you, they are going to kick ass and take names if you come after their little kids, right? If you come after the little goslings, or the whatever they're called, I don't know what swan babies are called, you better look out, because they can be vicious. And I feel like that's kind of what's emerging around the corner for you, is you're going to have people in your world that are going to be willing to fight for you, to protect you. And you are going to have the resources to be able to protect yourself, because you're also letting go of things that just aren't in your purview. They're not in your control. I feel like for a lot of you, you're also releasing certain people that you've been beholden to for a while, whether that's consciously or unconsciously. I would also say to you, this feels like you're releasing some energetic and emotional commitments that you've been making or that you've had for some time that you're now recognizing you just don't want to do it anymore. You're ready to kind of move forward into something else, something fresh and new. So I do feel that you are going to be letting go certain commitments, and that's going to help the confidence piece in you to emerge. And that, the grace of the swan, especially when we're talking about that wheel and the shifting of the wheel, letting this go and having that space now, as you're moving forward, allows you to navigate that wheel in a very powerful way, because you've got space to tune into how you're feeling rather than being worried about everybody else. What's everybody else doing? What's everybody else want and need? Nope, it's about you. Okay, circles of support. Who or what is influencing this transformation for you right now? And is it a positive or a negative influence? Interesting. This card's been coming up a lot in the readings as well. So I definitely feel there's a collective energy here of delay, despondency. It almost feels like a letdown at the end of a party. You build up to the party, you're excited about the party, you prepare for the party, you get all the party goods, you put together the party bags and the food, and then people show up and the music's going and the drinks are flowing and everybody's having a freaking blast. And at the end of the night, the last person leaves, you close the door, you sit in the joy of a successful event. And then you look around the room and you look at all the dishes piled in the sink and you go, oh, fuck. And suddenly there's a letdown, right? There's a give and a take for everything. I feel like this Four of Cups is coming through for you in terms of circles of support, to be able to kind of say, rather than trying to be the chief cook and the bottle washer of the whole event, prepared to have people, it's like something that we used to do in university is we would do like a potluck because we were all freaking broke as jokes. So we would all just like make something. So I'll bring the hot dogs, you bring the slices of cheese, you bring the hot dog buns, you bring the mustard. And, we all come together and I'll supply I can't cook or I don't have any money today. So come to my house and we'll cook it all at my house. And you come together and everybody supports one another and everybody eats, right? Everybody has what it is that they need. I'm really feeling like this Four of Cups, because she's alone here, I'm feeling like this Four of Cups is an invitation to set yourself up for success and to not allow this to happen. You don't have to do these kinds of things completely alone. Set it up where you do ask someone to come here and there and everywhere, so that you're all, you're doing it together, or you have all of the things that you need. Again, that I come back to that vulnerability. Don't be afraid to ask for things, because people are going to give it to you. And people want to support you. People want you to have a good time. I'm also really drawn to a lot of the blue in this card. And I feel like blue is connected to the throat chakra. So I do feel with your support system, you are going to be having a lot of conversations with people, and you're going to be surprised at what they have to say to you. And I feel like that's a positive thing. It feels like high praise. It feels like people who really are seeing you in a way that you aren't anticipating. And when you receive that feedback, it's kind of warm and fuzzy. So that feels really good. I definitely feel that this is a very supportive month for you, if you give yourself permission to open yourself up to that vulnerability and that you let people in. Hopes and fears. What are you dreaming of becoming? Oops. And what scares you about actually doing it? Well, that just flew right out there. Oh, I love it. The High Priestess. So I really feel here, I have to point out, like, the Two and the Justice are also similar, and you got the Queen of Swords. So this really, Libra, is a month about you. And even though we just had an internal eclipse as well as the external eclipse, and we're still kind of in the middle of all that, I feel like October, it really is all about you. And of course, I mean, this is your month, right? So happy birthday, Libra. Sorry, I should have said that at the beginning of the reading. So happy birthday, Libra. But whether it's your birthday month or not, I feel like the energy would be the same. When we're talking about your hopes and fears, this really is like, this is your card, but this is your power. Like, this is your soul essence, your core frequency. This is your superpower. This is how you show up in the world. This is how you present yourself. This is the service that you offer. This is your superpower. This is how you do it. And I feel like because there is kind of a higher concentration for you, because this is still new and fresh, there's a part of you that is afraid that the other shoe is going to drop. I feel like that's where the fear comes in. But the hope is that you're going to be able to embrace and embody this fully, and that you're only going to be able to grow from there. So I say to you, lean into the hope, lean into the truth of that. The truth of that, the reality. We were talking about manifestation for you. Don't manifest over the original manifestation, and really be in the presence of the law of assumption. I assume that I've already asked for it, so the universe is bringing it to me, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. I can just really tune in and live my life by the high priestess code, which is I'm always tuned in, and I don't do anything unless I have, double checked it with my intuitive guidance, or I receive the intuitive hit and I now evaluate where I can lean into that in my life, where I can bring that, because clearly it's coming through for a reason. How am I going to bring that into my now? I love that in this particular depiction, we have a stork. Storks typically bring babies gifts, new beginnings, in addition to the family, so to speak. I feel like for you guys, this is about bringing an addition to your skills. Your spidey senses are heightened, increased, super, super sensitive. So be open to receiving it. And I just keep hearing, don't get knocked on your ass. So I feel like your guides are basically also giving you a gentle nudge to understand just how powerful and potent this is going to be. So you want to be prepared for it. Make sure that you've got room and space for it. Don't overcommit yourself. Pay attention to this. Listen to all of you. Incorporate the intuitive with the physical, what your body is telling you, and incorporate that with the emotions and where things are at emotionally, and the mental component. Even though we're giving ego a rest, it doesn't mean that you don't need to use your mind. You can absolutely use your mind. This is about wholeness. You as a whole being. The human and the starseed and the sensitive and the light worker and the and. Lean into the hope, because the hope is your reality. It already is. Just tell yourself it already is. This already exists, and I'm just going to expand upon what already exists. And therefore, I don't need to have any fear about it. No fear required. I like that. Outcome. If you stay the course this month, who will you be on the other side of this journey? What is the result of embracing the full cycle of death and rebirth? Ooh, I love it. The Lovers. Interesting. So a fellow air sign, this is the Gemini card. Interesting reflections. On the other side of this, in October, the end of October and into November, I feel like you are going to be seeing yourself the way that others see you. And it's going to be a real eye-opener. It's going to encourage you to preen your feathers and strut your stuff. We see a big peacock here, right? Peacocks are about shining their light in the world, shining their beauty. I mean, if I could put any animal, any creature to like the perfect animal for a Libra, it would be a peacock, because they have that magnetism, that energy, that majesty. They're beautiful. Librans love beauty. And I feel like that's what's coming out the other side of this for you here in October, is seeing the beauty that is you. And maybe seeing, being in love with all of your parts, and seeing you the way that you are and the way that others see you for the first time. Or maybe seeing yourself for the first time in a long time. And the reflection is important. I feel like I want to say to you, trust the reflection. And lean into the reflections that you're seeing. Lean into the reflections that you like, and make more of it. I point out that you've got these extra spideys that are coming up and coming through. So lean into it and combine the two. because what you're putting out into the world also coincides with who you are on the inside. And if you're not feeling that resonance or that alignment, this is the opportunity to make it happen. Pay attention to those reflections, because those reflections are going to be a guidepost for you in terms of what it is that you're actually really wanting to do and how you're really wanting to show up and represent in the world at large. Wow, interesting. Okay, Libra, that is your transformational tarot for October of 2025. If you need any help or any support in this way, you know where to find me. Click on the link below, book a session. I would love to help you out. Otherwise, as always, sending you guys so much love and support until we see each other for another episode of Black Feather Couture, Divining a VIP Life. We will see you on the flip side, and transform well.